Resistance Uprising.
Good evening, everyone. I am Jackson, hosting this show tonight where we're discussing, I don't even remember the name of this movie, Michael Kohlhaas.
Age of Uprising, Michael Kohlhaas. You get it right because it's Mads Mikkelsen.
Age of Uprising, the Legend of Michael Kohlhaas.
I legit thought it was Age of Resistance for like 2 weeks.
It's a very strange title.
Yeah.
Anyways, I am Jackson with Just Annoyed, Born Annoyed, whatever. Joined by my esteemed colleagues here, per usual. Ken and Cookie are out tonight. They probably faked illness to not sit through this entire movie, but we will get to that later. I guess I'll start with intros. So, Mike, you picked the movie.
Yep.
And you know what? Instead of just introing yourself, we've got a new format coming, and let's just practice it. So
you want to practice it? Okay,
yeah, let's practice it. Mike, right. I'm giving you the screen here. Tell us who you are, what this movie's about, and then get intros from the other two.
All right, great. So, hey, I'm Mike from Downright Nerdy Podcast, and the way that we're going to start doing this now is whoever picks the movie does a quick synopsis of the movie, and then we'll intro everybody. So, the synopsis for this movie is essentially Braveheart, but with Mads Mikkelsen
with horses.
And with horses, yeah. So that's kind of it. That's kind of all you really need to know. It's yeah, we'll talk about what I think about it later, but let's go to the rest of the panel. Let's go to Paul.
Hey, due to the new format, this is my last time appearing on the show. Yeah, I agree. It was I'm sorry, just intros, right? My bad. Lost track. My name is Paul.
Starting well.
I know, sorry. Work stuff happening all around me. You can find me on Instagram at Paul's Problems, where I just kind of post some funny stuff and whatever comes to mind. Occasionally comics and some updates from the ever-evolving man cave.
Sweet. Ryan.
Hey guys, Ryan from the Fake Nerd Podcast. We're a weekly pop culture, movie, comics, video games, anime review show. We love to talk about nerdy stuff. We do it for many hours a day. This week we're talking about Suicide Squad because last week we missed it because I got food poisoning and that was awful. So can't wait to talk about Suicide Squad after everyone's done talking about it. What's up?
Hell yeah. Cool.
All right. So, Age of Uprising, right?
Age of Uprising, Legend of Michael Kohlhaas.
Yeah. Based on an old poem.
Not even his name. Not even his name. It was Hans, but it doesn't sell as well, I guess.
This is where we need Ken, too, because Ken probably dove into all of the historical relevance of this character in this movie and what have you. I guess I'll start by saying I thought it was kind of, I didn't.
What were your expectations before you watched the movie?
I thought it would be like marginally okay. I wasn't like expecting to be blown away. It did not meet my expectations though. I thought it was like it had moments where like the character stuff was good. I thought Mads, and cover your ears, Mike, but I thought he was kind of one note in this. I wasn't like blown away by Mads in this, which is unusual. And I thought it was, on the whole, I would say it was boring, and muddled a bit. I mean, there were parts where like narration is going on, and they're like kind of showing flashback scenes, and it's like, okay, well, when was this? What's going on? And this isn't a movie that should be confusing at all.
Yeah.
So I wasn't impressed.
So my expectations were not. I thought that it was going to be a movie where Mads was going to be having the entire movie on his back, and he was going to be the only shining star with this movie. And I was a bit disappointed overall, even with his performance. Don't know if that's due to the story or the directing or the editing or whatnot, but it's either way, it didn't meet my expectations as well, especially for me. I still think Mads Mikkelsen is probably still the best actor alive right now. It's still not wavering.
Now you went from best actor ever to the best actor alive.
Oh, I meant ever. Sorry.
Okay.
My apologies.
Right.
My apologies. Sorry,
sure.
Mads.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Me and Mads are on first name basis. So, Paul, what were your expectations?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be better than it was. I agree. It kind of was like Braveheart for PBS. I don't. I thought it was going to go somewhere in the beginning. It kind of hooked me, and then I felt like they kind of skipped some parts that they could have filled in with some more story. But I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with Jackson too. Maybe the most work Mads did was in the gym before this movie. He seemed a little B note, I guess. But I think, you know, the story didn't help him at all. But I agree. I still think he's a great actor. I'm interested to see more of his stuff. And maybe we could just forget this one.
Yeah. Ryan,
I'm not quite as negative as you guys are, but I definitely I'm not going to disagree with y'all. I enjoyed it. Once I realized what the movie was, instead I did think it was going to be like a Braveheart type of thing, just because like Age of Uprising, you think like, oh, a big revolutionary thing. I think it's way too long. I don't have a problem with Mads. I think Mads, he isn't a Braveheart type character. He's a dude who sells horses. Like, he is a regular guy. And this is the real life true story of a 16th century horse trader who got screwed by the government and tried to fight them and died. Like, it's not a big story. So like, this is what happens. This story didn't need to be told because it's not as cinematic as maybe a Braveheart is. But I was able to pull a lot of stuff from it, and I did end up liking it, but I was a little disappointed. Mads definitely held it for me.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the Mads aspect of it. So I don't think it falls on him really at all. I think it's direction. I think that like there were moments in the movie where they could have had him get more pissed or more this or more that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like they had him play everything with the same, like, you know, stoic. Yeah.
I feel like he was. Yeah, right. He was like almost. It almost looked very forced that he was holding back on certain scenes for me.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that.
I also think like thematically the movie's interesting because like, what's the message here? You know, like, is the message to always like stand up for what you believe in no matter the cost? Or is the message like maybe sometimes you just need to keep your fucking mouth shut and live your life and some things go wrong and
I think it's both. I think it is both because like,
I was about to say,
this story got told for a reason, right? This was like decided not being, you know, as grandiose as some other tales in history. Like, this was a big precedent in France during the 1600s of like people like stop getting taken advantage of by their government, right? Like, this was a small revolution amongst a bunch of other things happening at the same time, right? So like, this was, you know, again, this is like more of a leading factor to something like a Braveheart. And like, in that sense, like
Braveheart, but a much smaller scale.
It was more like a Robin Hood to me.
Yeah, more like Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Yeah,
he had his band of merry men who ended up fucking him over. I guess at least one of them did.
The stuff that I really gravitated towards was the small character stuff. There is like halfway through the movie, once the uprising has begun, which is just him just being a terrorist. He meets this pastor from the Queen, and he's like, what justice are you trying to do? Like, what's the point here? Are you just killing people? That's what you think justice is? Like, in the eyes of God, bro, you suck. You kind of suck. And the pastor goes away, and I'm like, that's a really great scene. And that's what I appreciate about this movie. Like, it's not a big action movie, but I think like the character stuff works pretty well.
Yeah, you're right. That pastor part was good, and I like the part where he like at the end, he's like, "Hey, you know, I can't remember exactly what he says to the pastor, but something like, can I get forgiveness now?' or whatever it was." And the pastor, and the way he presented it was like, okay, he still doesn't fully get it, right? And he probably doesn't really get it until the end of the movie. But yeah, I would agree. I like the whole pastor angle. I thought that was good.
Paul, do you have anything to add real quick?
Well, I think the main reason that he even fought for it was not just principle, but that path he took where his horses were stolen from him wasn't that one he'd taken before, or it wasn't like the last time he'd traveled that road. So he couldn't exactly say, okay, well, I just lost 2 horses. Because every time he took that path, he would lose something, right?
Yeah, because the whole thing was that the queen or princess or whatever had essentially eliminated this tolling policy. And they weren't tolling that path, I would assume, before the movie started. And then he went to go over it again, and they told him, and he had a problem with that. They fucked with him. They took his horses. killed his wife after he she went to court on his behalf. I don't think that he had a choice not to use that path. And you're right. Like these thugs or whatever are going to continue to keep screwing him over.
Of this young baron who just keeps giving him evil eyes.
Right.
Before we get into any like deep spoilers, because I feel like that's where this conversation is going to start to go. Could we give a spoiler-free review? No grades or anything, but what would you guys think?
I would not recommend this movie. I would give it like a C-. If somebody's like a huge Mads Mikkelsen fan, like,
still got to watch it. I got to watch it now. Yeah.
I don't regret having watched it, but I thought that it was. There were parts of it I liked. It was just a very bland, I liked the way Paul described it. It was like a PBS. Television program.
It's low budget as hell. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
But I guess maybe that makes me sound like I just want big action shit, but I don't even think that was the problem.
No, because this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I love long movies, but there's definitely 20 minutes into this movie that could have been cut, and I am more positive on the movie, but I can't recommend it high over a bunch of other movies that are similar to this, unless you're a hardcore Mads fan and you just if you're bored on a Sunday and you want to watch a cool French German movie, there are worse ways to spend your Sunday, but I'm not gonna gushing over the moon about it. There's one scene that I really did like. It's when Mads discovers that his wife, spoilers, I guess. We already talked about it. That's early in the movie. When his wife has been killed, and he's with his daughter in the woods, and he tells his daughter to walk the horses back home, and he runs home because he knows what's happened. And then it's a scene of the daughter running through the woods and her audio of her, and then it cuts to Mads dealing with it while his daughter's audio is still going on running. And I'm like, that's just good filmmaking. That's oh, this is a really good scene. And there's just not enough of that in this movie. It's mostly kind of not bad, just kind of dull. I don't think any of it's bad. It's just the script's not good enough to me to care enough.
Yeah, it's just boring. It's the daughter was really good, by the way.
Yeah, I think most of the acting is pretty good. The little princess, I thought she had a little presence, and I'm this is good. Mads is good. I think the final scene, with him accepting his death, and that's just 5 minutes of a single shot of him just getting ready. He's crying, he's getting ready to die, and then it cuts, and I'm that's good. That's really good. I like that. I thought it ended well.
See, at that point, I was let's turn this off.
I think Mads was giving.
I was somewhere in between.
Yeah,
I was just come on, let's.
You had to stay to find out how they were going to kill him, because he wouldn't let his buddy know how they were going to kill him because he knew. But
I learned. Did you learn how he did it? How he dies?
No.
Yeah.
The breaking wheel. It's like a wheel that they put you on, and
real life. This is how the guy got killed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wonder why they didn't do that for the movie, because they just did the.
Leave it to the imagination.
That's one hell of a government. You don't pay your taxes. I guess he was a terrorist in their eyes.
He was going to destroy an entire town.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand fighting against a corrupt government, but you don't become an evil person to fight the evil. That's not how it works.
It is. It's they did kill his wife, but to your point, the people in this town had little to do with that.
My biggest problem, and again, it's not his motivations, because having your horses stolen, being kicked around by the government, and having your wife murdered, that's enough for me. But there wasn't a scene of him this is my Age of Uprising. I need to do something about this. It was happening. It just happened, and he had his crew. And
I think that after that last thing happened to him, for me, I saw it kind of showed a close up of him, and he had this look in his face, it's almost like that point when Jason Bourne decides all right, I'm just gonna shoot this guy, right? He's thinking about it, and then he's at that moment he becomes Bourne, and that moment he became that Age of that Uprising thing.
Michael Kohlhaas.
What a horrible title, by the way.
Yeah,
it's not a mouthful. What the hell? Yeah.
But
it's
called Michael Kohlhaas.
I wish the 20 minutes that Ryan said they could cut out was transferred somewhere else. They just cut out pieces where all of a sudden he has all these guys and he's in the woods, and I feel like that could have been explained in a quick scene. They killed your wife. No one really seemed to care that his wife was killed. I guess it's just the times of little value on
It's
life.
just something that happens, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's like,
yeah. But
Well,
It's a Tuesday.
To your point, Paul, like, what's the motivation of all these people risking their lives? I mean, the government's been fucking them over for forever. But yeah, to your point, it's like his wife got killed, right?
Yeah.
There has to be more to the story of how he was able to.
this is
There's
how
like-
it, this,
There's
this
an
is
act
how it,
missing.
right. Like, it's not like Braveheart where they like everybody is getting killed. Everybody is like feeling the wrath of the government, right? There's no real shared, I guess,
Animosity?
yeah, right.
Because, like, dude, you're right. Just like the dudes just show up and he's like, "Hey, who of you are fighters?" And like a big guy stands up, but like, how did they get there? How did they meet? Why are they there? What is their motivations? It's just like, no, you're part of the Age of Uprising now. And I'm like, but you got to tell me why. Like, who are these people?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Paul, were you going to say something else? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Well, yes, but real quick also, or if not, what makes him so respected that these guys would follow him?
Yeah.
Is it just because he's a horse guy and he just has the best horses?
He's just the best horse guy. Everyone loves his horses.
Yeah.
But yeah, jumping back to like a no grade spoiler free review, I agree it's kind of bland, not the greatest movie, but I think it would be one that I would kind of pull out if someone's like, hey, my mom and dad are looking for a movie to watch tonight. Anything on Netflix they can put in and be like, yeah, what are they? Maybe this one. It just looks like one of those movies that someone's parents are, I'd recommend, like, yeah,
my
Mom,
boring ass tea drinking parents are looking for something to watch.
I would agree. This is probably like TV movie standards. I would say this is a TV movie standard, but maybe a little bit better. Like I will give it a little bit more credit than that.
It's not PBS. It's like Sci-Fi Channel, maybe.
I mean, I'd rather watch the Mitch Albom movie that Cookie brought to the show than this.
Oh man,
Tuesdays with Maury. I'd rather watch Tuesdays with Maury than this.
I like Mads more than old people.
I like Mads more, but I think Tuesdays with Maury was more
emotionally grabbing.
Yes, more emotionally gratifying.
There wasn't a time
because I didn't feel anything after finishing this movie.
Yeah.
There was I felt nothing. Right?
Well, Tuesdays with Maury, like I was not. I mean, obviously it's cheap and it's the Hank Azaria, and but I think he gives a good performance. I think who played Maury again? Why can't I remember? Oh, Jack Lemmon. Jack Lemmon. I like him. Like I wasn't bored during Tuesdays.
Maybe that's a reason why we liked it more, or I liked it more than that, is because I have more of a like mental connection with those actors. Maybe.
No, I don't know though, because you are attracted to Mads, man.
Even in this movie, man, he's like half robed half the time. I'm like, I get it. He's
naked a couple times too.
In front of the princess,
he was doing his squats
in front of everyone. He's just bathing, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad."
Like in front of his daughter too. It's like,
yeah, very, very strange. But
yeah,
you did get to see him have sex, Mike. How did that feel? Watching that at the beginning,
when
his daughter walks in, when the movie might still end up being
it was
good.
Fine.
But yeah,
let's talk about
Mike, what's your spoiler-free grade? You didn't give it. You didn't give.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. So yeah, spoiler-free. I probably, if you're, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Even if you're a hardcore Mads Mikkelsen fan, I mean, even though I am, it didn't change my opinion on him. But I could see this changing some people's opinion on Mads.
If this was the first thing you saw with him, you'd just be like, "Oh, well."
I don't think he's. Well, here's
Danish
the thing.
man.
Here's the thing. Yes, because we have seen a decade's worth, like a dozen movies of him being great. So if this was your first movie, he's not awful. He's just fine.
But the good thing about that is this movie is so forgettable. The next time you see him, you wouldn't remember this movie.
Yeah.
Where does this lie? Where does this fall in his career?
2013.
This is 2013.
So this is after Casino Royale.
Okay, that was 2007. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff. He's Rogue One in a couple years. He's there.
Yeah,
he was in King Arthur.
Oh, really? Oh.
Stop it. Oh, man.
So like the post, real quick, like again, I think I didn't see a trailer for this movie, but the marketing of the dude wielding a sword, it's the Age of Uprising. Like that's not what this movie is. It's definitely not like what they're selling you. So maybe maybe if it's just like him with a bunch of cute horses or something, maybe that'll sell it better. I don't know.
So I did watch the trailer, and it does market it as a Braveheart-ish type of movie. Yeah, and that could have easily contributed to why I didn't like it, because I felt duped.
Can you blame them for marketing it that way though?
You have to market it that way, especially with someone like with the only known actor in this movie being Mads Mikkelsen, and the way that he's been almost typecasted. I think around that time, it almost seems like, yeah, I would market it like that too.
Right. Yeah.
I guess
hope for the best opening weekend.
Like with a guy like Mads, like he doesn't just do big action movies. He also does like dramas. So like you could market this as like, this is like a family drama, like dealing with swords and horses, and like,
yeah, but they didn't.
But they didn't. Yeah. And that's they should have known what they had.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it would have added or taken away anything to the film if they would have killed his horses?
It would have added.
It would have added if that was the last straw, right?
And Uprising.
That's the he had his John Wick moment, kind of thing.
Yeah.
See, so that's my issue with the performance or the direction, is that like, even if that would have happened, like it only would have added something if they had Mads have that scene where he gets really pissed off. Right. Yeah.
My horses.
Yeah. And it sounds corny, but you kind of need that,
right?
Like a revenge style movie, right?
Bro, I think the opening of the movie is actually good too. Like with the toll booth, and he's like, "I've been down here a dozen times. I've never had to do that." Like I knew confrontation was going to happen, so like I thought horses were about to get killed. So the fact that it didn't happen, I'm like, okay, like a wife obviously is just as bad, if not worse. Like that's awful. It's your spouse, right? But like
if
animals,
it's worse.
No, I know. But I mean, in movies, people gravitate towards animals more than human murder. So I'm like, I was expecting all those horses to get like gadded.
We're so fucking numb when it comes to like murder and movies.
100%.
Yeah.
John Wick. John Wick can kill a million
we never
people.
see like a dog get murdered on screen, and when you finally see it, like, holy shit, kill that motherfucker, kill everybody in the world just to get back at this guy.
I get it.
One thing I noticed that actually started to annoy me about the movie kind of reminded me of I Am Legend, where there's butterflies everywhere. Every time you heard flies buzzing, it seemed like something bad was going to happen. Did anyone else pick up on that?
Oh,
no, I didn't.
That actually might be like an artsy touch that I missed.
Yeah.
Oh, that might actually be good.
That makes sense, because actually I was outside having a cigar and there were flies everywhere right before I watched this movie.
and then the other thing, as far as the horses, like when he's asking, I don't know if he's talking to the princess or the bear or like the law or something, after his wife has died, he doesn't even ask for anything to happen, if I remember right, to the other lord or the baron, whatever the term is. He's like, I just want my horses back in the same condition. Like, dude, they killed your wife. Like, I think for the guy to like be brought to justice or something.
I think at that point, he knows that he can't actually do anything to the baron, and like he doesn't want to ruin his entire life. So like, if the only thing he can get is his horses, he will get that. I think that's like where his line was thinking. Like he knows he can't do anything against this government. Like at this point, before he tries to do anything worse. I mean, before the story progresses.
I was irritated too.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Just on that same point, that the princess was like, "Yeah, your wife was harmed in my castle, and that's really all she cared about." Like, or as far as she went with it. I don't know if it was speaking to the times of like how, like I said earlier, the value of life. But I don't know. I feel like that played less of a part than I felt like it should have.
Yeah,
you're probably. I like too the whole thing with the daughter being upset with him, because he's kind of like gone off half cocked through this whole process, and she's now going to lose her dad. He didn't think about her. You know, so that was good.
Yeah, again, like there are enough for me. There are enough little scenes like that I think this movie is good, not great, but like it's like a passable good. We're like, yeah, like he's on the back of like the horse with his daughter. And he's like, please don't be angry with me. I'm sorry. My wife died. Sorry. Oopsie. He's like, I don't want to go live with my aunt. I don't know who that lady is.
Right.
Gosh,
and it's fine. Like, well, I would have my father, but
goofed.
Yeah, big time.
You had to do an uprising. Oops.
Yep. And I mean, if Paul would have acted like this when Indiana or Illinois called him about the tolls that he blew through on the way back from Chicago the other week, I mean, they did pay the toll, right?
Paul Kohlhaas.
They did finally call me. Shoot, I forget my. Darn it, I forget my point. I'll have to interrupt someone else in a minute.
You guys have any anything to say about like the effects, sounds, music? I like the music. throughout throughout the movie. I thought it was appropriate.
It served its purpose. Yeah, like the end had like a nice little piccolo going on when he was, about to die. Like, yeah, the music was good. It was there.
Directing, I think we already. Yeah, sorry.
Sound design was like fine. I mean, it sounded like they were in nature, flies buzzing. Paul already pointed that out,
technically, I have no problems with this movie. Again, this is a low budget movie about a bunch of people like dealing with horses in the 1500s. Like, the thing I appreciate, actually, they use a lot of natural lighting. Like, you can tell that there weren't like big, like giant, like lights set up everywhere. Like, they used a lot of natural lighting. Like when he's reading, there's just the candlelight. Like, that's something I appreciated.
When they were out in the large like fields, that was some nice cinematography with the wind and all that.
Where was this made? I wonder. Where was it filmed?
I don't know where it was filmed, but it is based around France and Germany's border. So there you go.
Yeah.
I was also surprised. Like he did his best to go the right route, and I think that's what led to the whole revolution. Like when his friend, who the Baron let his dogs, or his Baron's guard let the dogs attack, goes to like the local law and has him take his clothes off. Like the guy's torn to heck, and like still, it's kind of like, well, it's a guy of power. Sorry, like.
Yeah, like his case got dismissed at court because the guy had influence. Yeah. And this is one of those situations, where like after a while you can only take so much and you have to do an uprising.
Right.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah, well, I think we've adequately spoiled the movie too, so I don't think we have like a spoiler section.
Read the book.
We saved people.
Yeah, that's true. We saved. Yeah,
adequately saved you.
You're welcome. Adequately.
I think there are worse ways to spend your time, but definitely don't go seeking it out.
Did anyone think this guy was going to live like 20 minutes into the movie?
No, because I read the spoilers of his real life early.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not too bad. But anyway, I guess did we all do grades? I'm giving it a C-. I'm sticking with that. It's a little less than your like average movie. I think there's bad movies I like a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I'll give it a C+. I liked it, but like not quite enough to give it that B- route. I think there is good stuff to be seen in here. Like, but overall, like there are so many better Uprising type movies you could watch.
Sure. Paul?
Yeah, I'll give it a C. And then I also, one more spoiler thing is the guy in the end, the Baron, just got 2 years in prison for doing all this.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was believable, though, just based on the times and his status.
Nothing changes, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, right.
Nothing actually changed. Yeah, I'm going to give it a. I'm going to give it a D+.
Ooh.
First D+ for.
And
sorry, Mads.
Ken gives this a B+.
That's right.
He couldn't be here, but he's a B+.
He gave it the most. Wow.
Yeah, cookies. I did not get cookies.
Ken's a man of nature.
True.
He lives with the animals.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So since I don't have cookies grade, I will wait to do the average and put it on our rankings. But it is genre wheel week.
Oh my gatos.
Yeah. So created a wheel. Whoops.
Extra special.
That's good because that means I don't have to be disappointed when it doesn't land on me.
Yep. So yeah, we got a whole bunch here. I'm just going to shuffle this thing.
Oh my God, the treatment made it on the wheel. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Oh God.
Oh, Ready Player One. Why? Oh yeah, so many movies of varying qualities.
Last Action Hero, please. All right, I'm happy. Sweet. So once again, I get a decent movie.
Whose pick was this?
So where's my phone? No.
Was it me?
I think it was you, Paul.
Yeah, because you chose Kindergarten Cop.
Yep. So Last Action Hero. Where is it? Oh yeah. So that was last week or a couple weeks ago. The action genre. So next week on my show, Last Action Hero, starring
and Charles Dance.
Hell yeah, I love me some Charles Dance. Love him.
Sweet. Well, hey, appreciate everybody. You want to say our goodbyes, Ryan?
No.
Bye, Paul.
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at Paul's Problems. I post some funny stuff, and I'm starting to post some more of my displays since I've moved into our house about a year ago, and I'm finally starting to open some of my own boxes.
Hell yeah. Nice. And I'm Mike from Downright Nerdy Podcast. Catch us next week. Jackson?
Jackson from Bored and Annoyed, and down there, that's Ryan. He's from the Fake Nerd Podcast. They do a weekly pop culture podcast about anime, movies, comic books, all that kind of stuff. Tonight, they'll be reviewing Suicide Squad because Ryan faked an illness last week and couldn't make it.
Oh, dude.
The show can't go on without Ryan.
All of that puke digitally inserted.
But no, Ryan, you can say your goodbyes.
You did it. Fake Nerd Podcast. We're going live in a couple hours
I
talking
didn't
about
do
Suicide
this, though.
Squad.
I didn't do this.
I don't have hands, Jackson.
Oh, there you go. Can't do it without him.
Hold on, look at my. I'm like the guy in Doctor Strange. I'm doing portals with my mitts.
You're actually more like Nathan Fillion.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yo,
reference.
PDK.
Hey, my spoiler free for Suicide Squad. I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we'll see y'all next week when we discuss Last Action Hero, fun movie, and everybody have a fun and safe week. Peace.
Do an uprising.